Yo, what's good, guys? It's your boy Crooks209 here, and today we're going to be going over 5 keys that I believe are important to becoming an elite player at EA Sports UFC 4. Now, I get this question a lot on stream. People ask me, how do I become an elite player at this game? What are some things that I can use to be better at this game than where I'm at, or just to advance? So, I wanted to take some time out to make a video on this and go over 5 keys that I believe are important to being a better player overall if that's what you're choosing to do. So with that being said, let's get into it. My first key is to learn the basics of the game. So what I mean by that is to go into practice mode and the tutorials and learn the fundamental basics of all of the systems in the game. This one's very important because this is your base. You got to think of it like a house. A house won't stand if it's not on a good base. So if you're newer to the game, come in here and use the tutorials, watch the videos. Um, Definitely go into practice mode, work on them, work on the striking system, work on your combinations, work on your slips, work on your takedowns, work on your clinch, and definitely in this year's game, really, really, really get to know the subsystem because it's a really, really crucial part of the ground this year, as well as learning the GA system. So, in order to become an elite player, you want to have good fundamental basic understanding of all of the systems in the game. If you don't, then you become very one dimensional. If you just learn the stand up, but you don't learn the ground, you're one dimensional. If you're just used to taking people down and working on the ground and you have no stand up, then you're very one dimensional. And you don't see a lot of elite players being one dimensional. So it's super important that you have at least a basic knowledge of all of the systems that are in the game. The second key that I believe is important is to be a student of the game. Um, this kind of has applied to myself, just kind of naturally. Some people it happens naturally. Some people it takes some time because they're not used to it. But go in and watch streams. Go in and I personally watch a lot of streams. You'll catch me in Prioxis' stream. You'll catch me in Romero's stream. You'll catch me in Zaya's stream, um, Goat stream. I watch a ton of elite player streams because I just want to see what they're doing. Like, hey, Goat does this, so I'm gonna try to implement this. Oh, Zayaf does this. Oh, that's actually a pretty good. That's actually pretty good to do. Let me try to implement it here in my game in this way. So that's how you learn, by just watching. Go back and rewatch a lot of these ESFL events and really see not only what combinations are being thrown, but how people are moving, how people are setting up their takedowns, uh, what they're doing to set up subs, how they're gaining a GA in grappling situations. It's You want to be a student of the game. You want to study how everybody in the game moves because you don't know everything. As much as you might win in this game, or as much as I even might win in this game, I don't know everything. There's always an area that I can improve in, and I know that. So being a student of the game is super important. And part of being a student of the game too is using practice mode and quick fight to really hone your abilities. So I see a lot of people when they learn things, they just want to jump straight into ranked championships and try to apply what they've learned. But you want to hone your skills in practice mode and in quick fight before you jump into online world championships, because even though you're drilling it in practice mode, it's gonna look and feel different inside of an actual online fight. So that's where you want to go into quick fight and really lab the things that you're working on in an actual online fight. Because in practice mode you're drilling it against a recording that you set up, and that's not how a real opponent's going to move. A real opponent's going to be trying to set you up and trying to counter what you're doing. So definitely go on and use a quick fight to really hone in what you're trying to work on. The number 3 thing is be humble. Always be open to adding new things to your game. That ties into being a student of the game. it's really important to have a good attitude. A lot of the elite guys that you see that play this game are probably some of the nicer guys that you're going to meet in the community. Now, I'm not saying every elite player is a great person, because we know that's not true. But I would say a majority of them are actually good guys. They're always looking to add different things to their games. They're always questioning people on how they do things. Um, one one that pops into mind immediately is Romero. If you hop into my stream on YouTube, or Zaya's stream, or Heem the Dream stream, he's always in there watching. I mean, sometimes he'll type in the chat and he'll be talking to the community, but you know that he's in there just looking at different things about the game, and he'll ask you a question like, "Hey, how did you do this? How did you do that? Like, what were you thinking when you did this?" And he's one of the best players in the game. So if Romero is doing it, and I'm doing it, and Prioxis and all these other elite guys are doing it, why wouldn't you do it? We're in the same boat. We're trying to grow and be the best fighters that we can. So you want to be humble enough to be able to do that, and not feel embarrassed, and think that you know everything. It's something that could be a huge detriment to you at the end of the day if you're not being humble. So definitely stay humble and be willing to learn. So the fourth thing that I believe is important is to be able to make adjustments based off of your opponents. This is super important because in your mind you want to have be able to make game plans, especially if you're going to do fights like in the ESFL, or in Cage Rage, or in any tournament. You want to be able to make game plans for an opponent. Um, so making game plans is important, but also being able to adjust in the fight and make mid-fight adjustments is what's really, in my opinion, what separates elite players from intermediate players, from the middle of the pack. Is elite players are able to not only read what's going on, but make the adjustments. And then if you make an adjustment, they're able to make an adjustment to your adjustment. So if you guys go in and watch fights like Romero and Suave Jamie, or Goat and Suave Jamie, you go in and you see these guys. They're adjusting every round. They're not doing the same things. They're adjusting to each other, and that's what ends up making these fights so technical and such fun fights to watch, because these are two of the highest level players making adjustments on the fly, trying to get a decision or trying to get a finish, and it really really makes for really really good fights. So if you are able to learn to make adjustments in fights, it's going to be very very tricky to beat you, because people are going to always be on their toes, like thinking, okay, like what is he thinking? What is he trying to set up? Like if I do this, he's going to do this, but if I do this, then he's going to do this. And you're always making them think in the process of just trying to go off muscle memory with their combinations or their grappling or anything like that. So super important to to be able to make adjustments while you're fighting. And the fifth thing, and this is super important, guys, super 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 important, is understanding that loss is part of the process. Every fighter in this game loses. It's You're not gonna win every single fight. You're gonna get beat on sometimes, and it happens. Every elite fighter loses, has lost at some point, or has gotten beat up at some point. Um, but you can't let that discourage you, because it's easy to be like, oh well, I can't beat so and so, so I'm just gonna give up. Then that's not the attitude to have. You got to understand, like, hey, all right, he's obviously an elite player. I lost to him. Why did I lose? How did I lose? What did he do to get that victory over me? And you want to start dissecting how you lost and why you lost and what you can do to make sure that you don't make that same mistake again. If you guys watch my streams, my live streams, I had one the other day with Zayef, where I chose Kamzat and he was Leon Edwards, and we actually had a pretty good fight. But I made one mistake, and or I made an accumulation of mistakes in that fight. I let him hit my head too much, and then he ended up finishing me. But instead of being discouraged, I was like, you know what? He's also another elite player, and this is why I lost. So the next time, I'm gonna try my best not to lose like that again. So it's that kind of attitude that you guys want to have. And just for an example, right? I'm gonna go in and show you guys my profile. So my profile, I have 3,089 fights in my UFC, just in this UFC game alone. I've only won 2,412 of them, which means, guys, I have lost 677 games in UFC 4. I've lost 677 games, and I have not let that deter me from trying to be as good as I can be or as good as I want to be, because I just know that that's part of the process. And if I let it discourage me, then I wouldn't be up here at 33, because I wouldn't play the game anymore. I wouldn't put in the grind. I wouldn't be able to maintain the mentality that I have right now. And as you can see, I'm sitting at 33, and I've already lost 10 fights in this season. So it's all about understanding that loss happens, but learning from your losses and trying not to make the same mistakes again. But those are my 5 keys on how to become an elite player, and 5 keys that I believe are vital for you to be as good as really you want to be at this game. Whether that be, you want to be an intermediate player that really just doesn't get walked through by elite players. You just want to play online but beat your buddies. Or if you want to grind all the way to the top and be the number 1 player in the world. All of those keys are super important, and they can all be useful to you guys. But all right, guys, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button. And if you haven't subscribed already, please hit that subscription button. It'd be much appreciated. Go and follow me on Twitch for my live streams. I live stream damn near every day. So if you guys have questions, you can ask them to me in there. Feel free to add me on PSN as well. My gamer tag is up at the top. Follow me on Twitter. My Twitter link is also going to be in the bio. And jump in my Discord to get, if you haven't turned on the notifications, I also post in there when I post up videos. So feel free to jump in there. But all right, guys, until the next video, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I hope it really helped you. And I will see you guys later.